Well, good afternoon and welcome back to Orange TV's continued live coverage of the special event, the 2023 annular solar eclipse. It is now in progress, and as you know, we spoke earlier, it's going to make its way for the next 2 hours or so in Central Florida here. We're going to get about 60% coverage at its peak. But we have now made our way out here onto the terrace at the Orlando Science Center, where the Central Florida Astronomical Society has actually gone ahead and set up several different types of telescopes. Very important to mention that they all are equipped with special filters for direct solar viewing. That's very important because it's human nature, isn't it? When we hear about this exciting event happening, we want to kind of like peek and look up at the sun. But remember what Mom said, never look directly at the sun. And that is very important today, as this is an event that's over the course of several hours. And we know that there is that natural tendency to want to do that. We'll talk to an individual from the Orlando Science Center in just a minute about safe viewing. I've got my solar approved glasses here, and I got to tell you, yeah, you can already see. So the annular eclipse, as we mentioned earlier, and if you've done your research, like I know I did earlier in the week when I heard that this was happening, an annular eclipse is when the moon is passing between our planet and the sun, but right now the moon is at its farthest point away from Earth. So annular is referring to the ring of fire, which you may have also seen or heard about on social media. So that's what makes this event so rare and so special. The last annular solar eclipse was actually about 11 years ago. So that's why it's cool to take time to actually think about how cool our planet is, how interesting that all of us across the country can experience this, even though certain parts of the country will get more coverage than others. Like we said, here in Central Florida, we'll get about 60% coverage. So let's talk a little bit more about safe solar eclipse viewing. We have Brandon Landman with the Orlando Science Center. Thank you for patiently waiting over there. And, you know, it's great that here at the Science Center, when you attend here, we get these special solar approved goggles. So not goggles, glasses, however you want to call it, but you get the idea. You're not going to see anything when you put them on, no. But when you look at the sun, it will protect you and you will see the little tiny piece of the moon starting to appear over the sun. Thank you for joining us. This is an exciting day.
Yeah, we're very excited. I love an opportunity to share some really amazing science and talk to a whole bunch of ages and a whole bunch of people about, you know, phenomenon that occur all the time, but is still unique enough that if you don't know about it, you don't know. So you want to hear about it, you want to talk about it, we want to tell the stories and learn a little bit more about what's really taking place with our, you know, right now when you look at it, it looks like Pac-Man. It's, you know, it doesn't quite look like the sun anymore. So you want to understand what's going on. How's that working?
And you guys have been really great to work with. The other day, we were up in the observatory because we have a camera that is on a special telescope. Can you tell us a little bit about that? And thanks for helping us, by the way.
Yeah, it was my pleasure. Like you mentioned earlier, looking at it through a telescope is perfectly safe as long as you have the right filters on it so that you're not looking at it with just lenses, but this set of solar filters to make it safe. And, you know, what's really nice about what we get to do at the Science Center is get to play with a lot of that and sort of experience this idea of getting to share that with everybody. And that's what's so fun about doing something like this, is getting to share it with you, getting to share it with others. And then, yeah, the more we can do that, the better. That's our mission.
Well, we kind of have all felt like we're sort of touching our toe back into science class the last couple of days. And I remember the last eclipse was in 2017, and my son and I made a pinhole camera with a cereal box. And honestly, you might have been researching some DIY of your own there at home, but thank you for bringing this out because, again, if you don't have the solar glasses, if you don't happen to have perhaps a certain type of welding shield, this is a great way to actually observe the eclipse.
That's right. So a pinhole camera is a super simple way to do it, simple to do it safely. Once you take a piece of cardboard and you have a little pinhole in it, it could even be something like a paper plate. All you're really going to do is Intuitively, you're going to turn away from the sun. You're going to hold that pinhole up so that the sun is casting a shadow through it. And you're going to see a little piece of sunlight peek through that pinhole. And you're going to get the actual shape of the eclipse taking place right now. So we can build it inside of a box, or it can be something as simple as just a piece of paper plate. As long as you got something to project it on, that's really all you need. And you can look at it safely, and it is different. I think there's something weird when you look into space and see something that's not round, right? Everything in space is round for a reason, and that's because gravity. If it's big enough for us to see it, it's got a lot of gravity, and gravity makes everything round. So when you start to look at things like an eclipse and all of a sudden it looks like it's a crescent shape, you start to be like, well, that's kind of neat, that's kind of different. And that's just one of the little things that I think I love about what we're doing today, and what this can ultimately do in sparking the interest in moving downwards. My own personal love of science came from working in the astronomy side of things, got super interested in it, and it was using a pair of binoculars to look at Jupiter. So maybe for somebody else, it's looking at the sun with a paper plate, and if that happens, it'll be a great day.
I love it. So inspiring wonder wherever we can, because especially in this day and age where curiosity almost seems rare because answers to anything are at the touch of a button on our phone. But this is a chance that we can all stop and wonder and be curious about this event that we're all experiencing together today.
Absolutely. And what better way to spend your day, right?
100%. And by the way, thank you so much, Brandon, for joining us. And earlier in the week, you all in Central Florida know we always look at the weather and think, what's the weather going to be like for this rare event? Well, we have been really blessed today and very much in luck. So we invite you to continue to follow along with us as we cover this annular solar eclipse throughout the day today. So it's going to be for the next hour and a half or so. You can view the live feed, like we were sharing with Brandon, from the Orlando Science Center's telescope that is on the Orlando Science Center's YouTube page. You can also search Orange TV and follow along on our YouTube page as well. And for more of those tips that Brandon so creatively shared with us on safe viewing, you can check out osc.org. But it's going on right now. We will check back in with you a little bit, but enjoy our live coverage of the 2023 annular solar eclipse. Welcome back and good afternoon. We are back sharing this special live coverage at Orange TV of the 2023 annular solar eclipse. I'm Crystal Candy, and we are coming to you live from the Orlando Science Center. We have been sharing some fun facts with you, some ways that you can safely view, but right now, this is the time when we are seeing in Central Florida the peak portion of the annular eclipse. Right now in Central Florida, we are going to see about 60% coverage. So I am out here with a couple thousand of my closest friends looking up at the sky with my approved glasses. There are other ways we'll share with you to view it, but right now it actually looks like that crescent moon. The annular refers to the ring of fire that folks over there in Oregon will see a lot clearer than we will here in Central Florida. But we've been so blessed to have beautiful weather today. We're out here at Lock Haven Park, and I want to show you all the other people that are out here witnessing this rare event. You can see over on the lawn, we've got families, we've got little ones tossing around. I don't know if you can see, but there are several sun beach balls that are floating around. So many people coming out here to experience this rare event. The last annular solar eclipse happened in 2012. So this is very rare. And this is one of those moments because all of us across the United States in some way will be experiencing this all together, which is so cool to be able to come out and share. We shared with you some of the safe ways to view it, but at the Orlando Science Center with so many people out here celebrating and having that experience together, I want to bring in an expert. So I have Isha Gill from the Orlando Science Center. We're all smiles out here right now because this is where all the crowds have come out here to gather to look at it. This is the peak time, right?
Yes, definitely. If you were not looking at the eclipse earlier, now is the time. This is the peak, which means it's going to be the strongest view that we're getting of the solar eclipse. What that means is the moon is going to be covering the most amount of the sun right now. So it's a really cool looking view. Again, we never get to see anything like this. So again, the sun is going to look like a crescent moon shape, which normally the moon does. So they're kind of switching roles today.
I know, looking up at it through the glasses and even with some of the ways that you're going to show us, alternate ways that you can find things around your house to experience this without hurting your eyes because you're not supposed to look directly at the sun. But it does almost look like Miss Pac-Man up there in the sky.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, it's a very strange sight. Obviously, we're not getting that full ring of fire effect that Oregon to Texas is getting, but I think we're getting something just as cool that you don't get to see all the time. And you can really see it well with direct viewing tools or non-direct viewing tools. It's really awesome.
Okay, so you guys have to see this because Isha has brought what you might have in your kitchen, a colander. So with the pinpoint, which would be that one camera that, or you can do with the paper plate, the pinpoint projection, let us know how this works and maybe we can give viewers an idea.
Yeah. So with the pinpoint that you saw earlier, there was only one hole in your paper plate or your cardboard or your index card. But as you can see, a colander has lots of circular holes, which means you can see a lot of the reflection. So if I just kind of angle, let's see, my colander on the floor here, we'll be able to see that the sun's reflection looks almost like an exact crescent moon, even though it's supposed to be circular holes right now. So this is really awesome. We're kind of getting, hundreds of pinhole viewers at once. It's really awesome to see.
Yeah, do you guys see that at home? It looks like we have about 100 crescent moons that are there. No problem. There's so many people out here. It's so exciting. I think the thing too for me, thank you for showing us that, you can really get creative while being safe at the same time. So you guys here at the Science Center have been so great helping us share this experience with all of you at home. We have a camera up on the telescope in the observatory that people can actually see that safely right now. But what's it like seeing everybody out here experiencing it together?
It's really awesome. Everyone has come out, which feels really amazing, but everyone is still really passionate about learning science, and especially because this is a science event that we don't get to talk about very often. Of course, we have solar eclipse activities where the kids are making their own solar eclipses, as I'm sure you saw, those suns are flying through the air. But we also had experiments about just how sunlight works and how the spectrum of light works. It's a lot of being able to learn about the different types of science to get us all here, right? Because it's not just the sun and the moon, it's everything together, right? And of course, everyone is here, all age ranges. And our mission at the Science Center is to inspire science learning for life. So it's awesome to see that we're able to do that mission here today.
I feel like mission accomplished when you look around here. I mean, how cool, Orlando. I don't know if you could show it again, but on the lawn over here, we've reached that peak time of the eclipse. We've got kids throwing around Saturn beach balls. We've got sun beach balls, Earth. I mean, this is a moment where we can all get off of our devices, come outside because the weather is perfect today, and all across the country, we can experience this together. So I love that you showed us this. As people now, over the next hour or so, as this winds down, what are people going to see?
Right now, it's a very, very small crescent sun shape, as we saw. So what's going to happen is the moon is going to complete its orbit, just going right over the sun. And so we're going to be able to see that crescent sun get a little bit bigger, going in the opposite direction if you were paying attention to the sun earlier. So the moon is going to slowly become large again, just like how we know it up in the sky. But it'll be cool to kind of watch that journey happen. So definitely keep watching this eclipse.
Awesome. Isha, Gil, thank you so much. You did an awesome job. And thank you for showing us that even simple household appliances, right, can help us experience science. And we appreciate you joining us now. And now that we have reached the peak, it is going to continue, but you can also continue to follow along with us. You can follow along with the Orlando Science Center at their YouTube page. You can also watch Orange TV on our YouTube page as we continue to stream this 2023 annular solar eclipse live from the Orlando Science Center. And boy, it is exciting to see all of the people who have actually come out together. It's funny, just earlier, you know, when people have their glasses on and they're trying to take pictures with their phones, some people are going, well, it doesn't quite look the same. This is one of those moments where you get to take that mental picture and remember that you were here. This is a rare event. We're so glad you're joining us. Hopefully we're all learning a little bit more about science on this beautiful Saturday. But we will be back with more behind the scenes from the Orlando Science Center. So check out their website, check out the YouTube channels, and we will check back in with you in a little bit. to Orange TV's live special event coverage of the 2023 annular solar eclipse live from the Orlando Science Center. That picture that you just saw at the beginning of the shot, that's the observatory here. And that is where we have a camera that is placed on one of the Orlando Science Center's telescopes in the observatory, giving you this whole time a live feed for you to be able to watch this very rare event. And I, along with all those other folks you saw out there earlier with my solar approved glasses, have been able to check it out. Although it was peak a few minutes ago, we can still see it, and it still will be visible for the next hour or so. We hope that you have been enjoying this rare event, just like many of us here at the Orlando Science Center have been all day. And now that we are up here on our terrace, you can see behind me, we've got folks here from the Central Florida Astronomical Society. They have so generously brought out their telescopes, all of them outfitted with a very special filter so that you can safely view the sun and what is happening today. So I have a special guest now, Spencer Jones from the Orlando Science Center, and he can tell you guys at home a lot more detail about why this is so special. It's so awesome to see everybody coming out for this rare event.
Yeah.
And I love that you have on your name tag, ask me about the eclipse.
Yeah, right.
So you're not so excited at all, are you?
No, not at all. No, I'm actually just gonna leave, I think, in the middle of this. It's fine. It's like it's just the sun. It's always there, you know? No, it is really quite an amazing thing. It's space is something really special to a lot of people, even if we don't think about it every day like I do. It's something that just fascinates everybody deep down. And so there are just a few fleeting times with things like the solar eclipse where we all get to come together and like share that love a little bit, right? And you know, we had like the web release its first images last year, and it feels like this year it's all about the solar eclipse. So I'm just excited to see thousands of people enjoying space. It's awesome.
And we could not have asked for a better day today. I mean,
right?
Blue skies, barely a cloud in the sky now. But tell us, because a lot of us have had to put our science hats on and sort of go back to class for a couple of days and learn what this actually is. So how can you explain what makes this different, this eclipse?
Yeah, I mean, the point is that, our moon goes around the Earth. We all know this, right? And so every month, 28 days or so, the moon makes a full orbit. And so an eclipse is special because it's not just that the moon has gone on its normal orbit, but while doing that normal orbit, it happens to be perfectly aligning with our vision of the sun. That doesn't normally happen because the orbit's a little bit tilted to where the Earth orbits around the sun. And so usually those alignments just don't quite line up. And so we get what's called a new moon every month where we don't see it. We just see the dark side of the moon, quote unquote. And we don't think about it. But, today, again, in April next year and decades later, we get these rare times where everything perfectly lines up and it literally just blocks our view. It gets a shadow that sweeps across the Earth. It's quite dramatic if you see it from space, I assume, but we get this view from down here, which is also pretty cool.
Now, and the view has been pretty cool, but thank you for explaining that with such enthusiasm and such great detail. We are in Central Florida, but as all of us across the United States, which is pretty cool, we all get to experience it. We're experiencing, or we did at the peak, about 60% coverage. So explain a little bit about, that other people in the country are experiencing different coverages, so to speak, or different experiences.
Yeah, definitely. If you think about I don't know, you think about you look at a balloon, right? If you're looking at the balloon head on, you'll see one thing. And if you walk a little bit over that way, you'll see a different side of the balloon, right? So that happens with the surface of our Earth too. Even if you're just slightly on a different part of the Earth, you're going to see a different angle of this perfect alignment. And so there are a couple of special humans who live along that path of totality, or in this case, the path of max coverage for our annular eclipse. Those people, they live in just that right angle looking at the balloon where they can see everything perfectly aligned. For us, we're going to get just a slight misview of that, but it's still obviously really cool. Like you're saying, we get 60% coverage. It makes the sun look like a weird crescent moon. It's very strange, but it's very cool to see, right? But yeah, definitely if you are along that path, you're going to get a better view, and the closer you are to it, the more perfectly aligned you are, the more coverage you're going to get. This is an annular eclipse, right? So it creates a ring effect because the moon's a little bit further away today than it might be next April, for instance. The next time it creates an eclipse for us, the moon's going to be a bit closer. It'll fully block out the sun. But this time, it's just a bit too small, and so it doesn't block out the full sun. It creates that ring, right? So
It almost
really
looks
cool.
like it's taken a bite out of the sun.
Yeah, definitely. And what I think is amazing is the fact that we can have both. Our moon is just the right distance away to have both a total eclipse and an annular eclipse, a partial, basically, eclipse. And that's really, really strange. It doesn't have to be that. If the moon was a little bit smaller, a little bit further away, everything would be fine. Humans would be kicking around doing nothing different. But the fact that it's just so perfectly coincidental is very strange to me, and I think it's awesome.
And it's so rare, and it's exciting that it's happening, and we're all getting that great view of a good weather day to experience it.
Right.
You mentioned in April, because now we get to look forward to April for the next eclipse.
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about what that's going to be like.
It's a very similar thing for us in Orlando. It's interesting. In my educational lifetime, we'll say, of like this decade here, I'm getting 3 eclipses. I got one in 2017, and I'll get these next 2. And for here in Orlando, it's all about 60% coverage. We're at just the right angle for all 3, coincidentally, to get about the same experience here in Florida. But the different shadows will sweep across different parts of the country and the whole globe for different parts of the world. And so, for us, it'll be about the same here, but for the people along that path of totality, it's where the moon really blocks out the sun fully. You get that corona effect, that classic glow where, the perfect, I haven't seen it with my eyeballs yet. We'll see if I'm coming in April to the
Yes,
Science
be
Center, if I have to go to that path of totality, because it sounds really cool. But it creates this like awesome halo effect around the sun, which I hear is awesome.
Well, we will be coming back in April to talk to you, Spencer Jones from the Orlando Science Center. Thank you for your enthusiasm and for
Yeah,
explaining it.
anytime. Yeah, I just love talking about it, so anytime.
It's very obvious, right?
Right.
This is the day. Thank you so much. This is the day to dip your toe back into science and really enjoy the curiosities of our universe, right? And so we will definitely continue to bring you those images that you have been witnessing for the last hour or so of the 2023 annual solar eclipse live from the Orlando Science Center. Remember, you can check out that feed live on the Orlando Science Center's YouTube page, which is showing you that picture of the eclipse while it is finishing its pathway across the surface of the sun. Remember not to look directly at it. Use some of those methods that you've heard us talk about, whether it's using a paper plate with a hole in it, whether you've got those approved glasses. Wow, yeah, you can still tell when you're out and about today, the sun is shining brightly, but that eclipse is going on right now, and we're all experiencing it together. We will bring you more in just a little bit as the pathway continues, but for now, continue to check out osc.org and Orange TV's YouTube page. Remember, our camera is right up there on the observatory, so we'll send it back for you guys to continue to enjoy it, and we'll bring you more behind the scenes in just a little bit. our special live coverage here at Orange TV from the Orlando Science Center. I'm Crystal Candy, and we have been bringing you live coverage of the 2023 annular solar eclipse, which is now winding down, continuing to make its pathway across. This is what it's all about, though, guys. This is the Our Planet exhibit, and this is where science comes to life. I heard these kids earlier say they made a black hole. Interaction is the key. And that's what's so cool about today's rare event, is that we've all been experiencing science in a different way, whether you were able to make a pinhole camera, whether you had those approved glasses to wear to view the annular eclipse, or if you were able to continue to watch the stream that we have with the camera right on top of the observatory here at the Orlando Science Center on one of their telescopes. We really enjoyed bringing all of this to you. And this is what the Science Center does best. And it's exciting to see everybody getting hands-on. You can see in the background, the sphere is projecting an image of the sun and the continued pathway of the annular eclipse. But for more information on that, I want to bring in Brandon Landman, and you helped us earlier understand some safe ways that we can view. It's so fun to see and hear all of the buzz in here. As someone who loves science, what has today been like?
Today is like the reason why you want to do this kind of work, teaching people and enlightening people and getting them excited about science, right? This is where it all culminates. We've had an amazing time, both internally with the team working together to throw, I think, what was a great Eclipse event. And then you're seeing sort of the aftermath of just people taking in all the extra opportunities that exist here at the Science Center, which, you know, makes it a little hard to hear sometimes, but that's okay.
That's what it's all about. It's about the excitement, the enthusiasm, the action-packed kids running here and there. That's what it's all about. So tell us a little bit. I know that as this annular eclipse winds down, we learned what makes this different and special. So describe a little bit about what we've witnessed today.
Well, I think what we ultimately witnessed was sort of a culmination in everybody getting to do something together, witnessing it together, and then asking questions as a group and kind of all figuring it out together, which is amazing. Like, that's exactly the kind of thing that I get really excited by. And that will lead hopefully into what will be next spring's total solar eclipse that'll be coming. And that will get even more people hopefully jazzed to learn a little bit about astronomy and what's happening out in the sky. And then inevitably, you know, get involved. There's local science organizations you can be a part of, memberships at your science centers. There's all kinds of things. If this is something that you're interested in, there's a lot of opportunity to learn more.
Yeah, and we noticed too when we were out on the terrace, the Central Florida Astronomical Society was out with their telescopes that were outfitted with proper filters to be able to observe. And I could tell that they were just excited to share this technology and share the enthusiasm. And I think that's what's been so special for all of us, in addition to experiences. So an annular, if I'm getting it right, because I have been studying the last couple of days, it is, and we have 60% coverage because of where we are in that pathway. But explain what makes an annular a little different and really very rare.
Yeah, the annular being the moon is at its furthest point from the Earth. The moon orbits Earth in an ellipse, so it's not always quite perfect distance to make it a total eclipse where it actually blocks out the sun completely. So it's just a little bit further away, causing it to create that sort of ring of fire that everyone's been talking about. It can't cover the entirety of the sun during an annular, but during the April eclipse, that's where we'll get the other kind, which is a total solar eclipse. Not in Florida. We'll still be about 60% of an eclipse here in Florida, but across other parts of the country, it'll be totally covered, similar to what it was in 2017.
Nice, very great explanation. And I love the fact that people can now come inside after they were outside, whether they were viewing with the glasses or looking in the telescopes. Now they can come inside and really interact. This table over here, we're seeing that's very popular. The kids are loving to create galaxies, and this whole exhibit is really about interacting.
Yeah. interaction, specifically space sciences. So if you want to learn a little bit about that or paleontology, we've got it here at the Science Center. And then you layer on top of that, we've got opportunities with live programs where we create new content all the time. You just saw we blew some peeps up in space to show you a little bit about what happens when you're in the vacuum of space. So there's just a lot of opportunities. We invite anybody to come check us out. That would make my day.
You know what? And thank you, Brandon Landman, for joining us. It is very clear that everyone who works here loves science and is just beaming with how much great turnout you've had today, and all these people also excited about it too.
I think so. And that makes it feel good. It makes you want to come to work. It makes you want to do this. And I'm just excited for the next one. It's coming.
All right, well, stay tuned for that. Thank you again for everything today. And remember, those of you can still continue to follow along while we stream live on Orange TV on our YouTube channel. You can also go to osc.org for more information about this eclipse. And then we are now looking to the future, to the next eclipse in April of 2024. But while these kids create galaxies, while the folks back there by the sphere learn about Eclipse 101, we will be back in just a bit to bring you more from the Orlando Science Center. But please check out those feeds for our continued coverage of the 2023 annular solar eclipse. Good afternoon and welcome back to Orange TV's live coverage, this special event, the 2023 annular solar eclipse. We've been coming to you live from the Orlando Science Center for the last couple of hours while we've been covering this rare occurrence. And we have made our way up into the observatory here at the Science Center. Really kind of a cool, special place to be. And they have allowed us to be able to give you a really cool view of today's eclipse. We've been able to bring you a live view of the telescope with a camera that we put on there so that throughout the day, we've given you those pictures of the 60% coverage of the sun as the moon has made its pathway across, and it's just about complete. And I don't want to let any more time pass before I bring Jeff Stanford from the Orlando Science Center back. You have really made a jam-packed day. We were just down at the Our Planet exhibit, which was alive with people experiencing science. What's the day been like? First of all, we have been so glad that the weather has cleared up for this.
Yes, I am too. I'm so glad that we got some nice weather for this because it was kind of touch and go earlier in the week. So it was a great day for eclipse viewing and such an exciting day to be here at Orlando Science Center that people in our community were curious about something going up in space. They had questions about science, and they came here to get them answered. They came here to celebrate the eclipse. We had a great crowd, probably over 2,500 people today, both inside and outside Orlando Science Center, learning about the eclipse, observing the eclipse, learning more about what goes on in space and the type of careers you could have and what you need to do to travel through it. So yeah, just a really fun time today learning about science here at Orlando Science Center.
You know, it's cool that, and a lot of people have said this today, that this has been something that we've all been able to experience together. This is not, you know, an electronic in our hand, which we're all so used to. This is something that forces you to step outside your door. Maybe if your neighbor's outside too, they've made their own pinhole camera, what have you, or they have their glasses. This is something we're all experiencing together, and it is such a rare event. And I know these are the times when you guys get excited to share, you know, what it's all about.
Yes, it was a wonderful shared experience today, and there was a lot of talk before we got to today about, well, Florida's not in the direct path of the eclipse. You're not going to see the ring of fire. What are we really going to see? Is it really that big a deal? Why are we going to do this? And you know, our team was always, yes, we're not in the direct path, but we're still going to see something amazing, and we're going to learn about this, and we're going to highlight it, and we're going to celebrate it, and we're going to come together. And that's what was amazing today, that everyone in the community came here to the Science Center, whether they were out in the park or inside watching the NASA stream from the direct path or attending one of our shows, but they were learning, they were engaging, and they were celebrating together. It was a wonderful day of all of us coming together. And you made a good point, Crystal. We weren't all experiencing this individually. And I'm glad we were able to get together to share this live with our friends through Orange TV who couldn't make it out here today or didn't have access to seeing the eclipse safely. So it's just been wonderful to just be able to share this experience with everybody.
And you're very generous to open up your doors because we can tell how passionate you all are. Now, we're here in the observatory, like we mentioned. Can you tell people a little bit more about where we are right now? Because this is a special place that not everybody necessarily gets to come, but there are opportunities to explore.
The observatory is a really great place. It is at the top of the Science Center. It's that silver dome you see when you drive by the Science Center on Princeton Street. And up on top, we have a 10-inch refractor telescope. It is one of the largest refractor telescopes that the public have access to. And so what we do is we offer access to the observatory on special times throughout the year. Usually when we're doing our Science Night Live events, those are the 21 Up nights. We have folks that can come up and check out the telescope. We have special member viewing nights where the members can reserve a time slot just for their family to come check it out. and we've done a number of other opportunities. But it is great to have an observatory right in the heart of downtown so you can check out the night sky. The best opportunity you can have right now with the observatory is starting up very soon. In November, we will be able to allow you to book a private tour of the observatory. You can come in with your family and friends, spend some time with the telescope, get some one-on-one time with our astronomy experts, look at the night sky, learn more about telescopes, learn more about space, and then spend some time with just your group in a very exclusive, inflatable planetarium where you come in just for your group, whether that's 4 people, 6 people, 10 people, and you can travel to anywhere in the known universe in high definition to see constellations and stars and planets. So just a very amazing experience. So if you've been turned on to astronomy through your experience here, come and book one of these private observatory events, and you can learn more about that on